away from me.
Hello guys, it's me Drew, and welcome to Social Distance Cinema Discussion. This week, to prove I don't hate Pixar movies, we watched the movie Soul, which happens to be my favorite movie of the year so far. What seems like centuries ago, I did a video dissecting COCO, and I took a ton of internet flack for saying that it's probably one of my least favorite Pixar movies. To be fair, the thumbnail was a little clickbaity. You can check that out here if you're interested. Although I like Soul far better than I liked COCO, the two do share some strange similarities. Both movies feature a protagonist that loves music, venturing through an afterlife where they meet a new friend that teaches them a profound life lesson. The key difference between the two lies in the movie's messaging, the themes, and potentially even the target audiences. In essence, this movie seems written for everyone that had all the same complaints about COCO that I had. Where COCO encourages your passions through the lens of a child, Soul cautions you against obsessing over them through the lens of a middle-aged man. Similarly, the target audience for COCO was always children and families of Mexico and South America. Soul seems to speak directly to the growing US cynicism in millennials and Gen Z.
Oh, yeah, jazz is definitely pointless.
Hey.
In fact, all of school is a waste of time.
Even though he's in his 50s and it's taken to its extreme, Joe's life is that of a 20-something who has to come to terms with the fact that their passion might not be for them. I wonder if that's why I liked it so much. Joe's main flaw revolves around his achievement-based value system. When he walks through the Hall of Memories, he's confronted by all of his past projections.
Wait. That's not how I remember it going down. I mean,
Come back when you have something.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
There's also tiny moments of happiness that Joe pays no attention to. Since his early childhood, Joe's main goal has been to create a musical career for himself through his spark that is the piano. He's been so focused on his goal that he's lost track of his own happiness. To Jerry Time, the idea that a soul's spark would equal a soul's purpose is completely absurd.
We don't assign purposes. Where did you get that idea?
because I have piano. It's what I was born to do. That's my spark.
A spark isn't a soul's purpose. Oh, you mentors and your passions, your purposes, your meanings of life. So basic.
Simply put, purpose is an earthly human concept. The idea that a greater power or intelligence would assign such a thing is nonsense. It becomes easy for people to delude themselves into thinking that their passion, or their spark, is their life's purpose. It's interesting to see how Pixar hones its messaging to speak to different audiences. Like, for instance, in COCO, it's all centered around Dia de los Muertos, which is a cultural tradition that I have no part in, rooted in Catholicism, and I'm basically agnostic. Soul speaks closer to me because it's directly catered to me, if that makes any sense. While it's important to experience new traditions and different cultural norms, some movies are just going to speak to you more than others, you know? My cynical brain really appreciates and respects when a film takes a scientific approach to creating their mythos. Soul creates an afterlife that's based in modern-day scientific unknowns, which is a perfect place for fiction. In Soul, Jerry Time describes herself as...
Who are you?
I am the coming together of all quantized fields of the universe, appearing in a form your feeble human brain can comprehend.
What?
You can call me Jerry.
I f***ing love this interaction. First off, it sidesteps every religion ever. The Great Before, or the Youth Seminar, doesn't play it safe to appease any religion, but it also presents itself in such a way that it's difficult for any religion to get angry at. It gives credence to agnostics and atheists as well. Keeping this in mind, and I know this movie's catered to kids, I'm gonna show you how fucking cool the animation is from a scientific standpoint. What does Jerry mean when she says that she's the coming together of all quantized fields of the universe? There's this age-old question that physicists have been trying to answer for decades about how quantum mechanics, or all the small shit like bosons and quarks, meshes together with general relativity, all the big shit like planets and stars.
It's called a motor neuron disease.
Stephen is looking for a single theory that explains all the forces in the universe.
What one believes is irrelevant.
Basically, there's like 17 particles that we know of that make up all of reality, each with their own charge and mass, sort of like the periodic table of elements. Quantum field theory is a framework of the universe that says that instead of those particles being literal particles, they are instead energy wave excitations on each of their own individual fields. Fields that permeate the universe. It's sort of like Einstein's theory of gravity, where space-time is just a field that's like a fabric and mass resides on it. The heavier the object, the greater the gravitational pull. Each of these fields require a certain threshold of energy in order for an excitation to be observed, and that's what we perceive to be particles. But how does this relate to animation? You, I'm getting there! As of yet, we're unable to reconcile gravity with quantum field theory. This prevents us from having a full understanding of the universe, and that lack of understanding is where this film resides. To unify gravity with quantum mechanics, some physicists have come up with a theory known as string theory. That's right. In more ways than one, the movie Soul is built on string theory. String theory says that instead of particles being points or wave excitations on a field, they are instead one-dimensional lines that can be twisted, contorted, and vibrate across 11-dimensional space. The 3 dimensions of space and the one of time that we humans understand is only one small piece of the pie, while the other 7 are so small that we would never be able to see them. So what's a one-dimensional string to the human mind? Well, a horizontal or vertical line, where that line then contorted and twisted and vibrating across 11 dimensions of space, the human brain could perceive it to look like a 2D object or character. Looking at both Jerry and Terry Time, we can see this influence on the animators. Both of them are just 2D characters with one start point and one end point, meaning that it's just a line that is contorted across the different quantum fields of the universe. It's seen more prominently when Terry Time has to go through Earth and find Joe in 22. He travels in his most basic form, which is just a line. That's why having these 2D characters in a 3D animated movie is both motivated and the coolest f***ing thing I've seen Pixar do in a long time. Also, when visualizing string theory for dumb shits like me, physicists will often use music and wind instruments as an analogy. Take Connie's trombone, for example. If we imagine the air she blows out of her mouth as a single line leading to the end of the trombone, we can easily see that her contorting and twisting of that line is what produces the notes. So basically, the writers saw that they had a story with music as a key element, wanted to dive into a science fictional afterlife rather than a religious one, and then used this f***ing awesome theory as visual inspiration for their animation. And technically, due to the observer effect and the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, it's not scientifically out of the question for these strings to be conscious, but that's a whole different thing. Yeah, you could say it's a bit far-fetched to think that your soul goes to a place between dimensions when you die, but not more far-fetched than getting wine drunk with Jesus in heaven.
Rosé all day, my child.
This is a red. Of course, the cynic in me says that they took this scientific approach so that they could market this film to the atheistic Chinese government. And since I think the movie's catered to cynics like me, f*** you, Disney. Stop bending the knee to the CCP. I just spent the whole video trying to explain advanced quantum theories on a channel that's about dissecting movies. What the f*** is wrong with me? The characters were good too.
Wait, are you actually helping me?
Joe, I have been here for who knows how long, and I've never seen anything that's made me want to live. And then you come along. Your life is sad and pathetic.
And the plot was great.
Well, what if I help you turn it into an Earth Pass? Will you give it to me then?
And they gave due credit to Black culture for starting jazz music.
Ted, I don't want to go. I don't like jazz.
Black improvisational music. It's one of our great contributions to American culture. At least give it a chance, Joey.
But really, at the end of the day, 15 out of 15 lobsters for string theory alone. But what did you think of Soul? Did you understand any of the science I was trying to explain? Did I understand any of the science I was trying to explain? Let me know in the comments section, and while you're down there, if you like the video, give it a like and subscribe. Really helps the channel out. Keep an eye out on social media and Discord for this week's movie, and also keep an eye out on YouTube this week for maybe a couple extra fun videos. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully I'll see you next week.